We're at the new Mahindra India Design Studio here in Mumbai, and we have someone I think who will give us a great idea of this place. This is Pratap Bose. He's the design and creative head of Mahindra & Mahindra. Pratap, thank you so much for speaking to Overdrive.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can you tell us a bit about this place and what was the thought behind coming up with it?
Yeah, design in Mahindra has existed since the late 90s actually. A part of this building was then created as a dedicated design studio in 2015, 10 years ago. And since then, we've really grown as a company, as you know. Not only in the SUV and farm vertical, we've got new verticals, so last mile mobility, for example. And each of these businesses have also expanded their offering. So we have 5 SUV families today. We have a huge range of commercial vehicles, under 3.5 ton. We've got trucks and buses, tractors in 2 major brands, and last mile mobility. So to service all of these business needs for product range, product creation, product offering, we've had to expand our studios. We've also brought in some new emerging design skills, so for example HMI, human machine interface, UI UX, what we call design perceived quality. These are things we've now able to do. Paint development, color development, we can now do that in-house. So there were these couple of reasons to actually invest in a expansion like this.
And can you tell us, design by itself is a very creative process, and we don't see too many facilities like this in India. I mean, you see it abroad, I think it's a big part of their design process. So
yeah.
What has taken it so long for India to have more such facilities, or even at say a third party level? So what do you think why has it taken so long?
I think some OEMs, both in auto and in two-wheelers, for example, have pioneered this. They've had design facilities and ability for a long time, and now I'm seeing even startups have invested a lot of money, time, talent in design, which is very heartening to see. Something of this scale perhaps is not yet happened in India, or there are very few. But given that we are the 3rd largest automotive market in the world, it's only that question of time, and we are reaching a tipping point. I think more and more studios will open. And by the way, in my own private, let's say, capacity as a designer from India, I always urge other OEMs to invest in design. We need an ecosystem.
Sure.
Today we have 100 people, we might need 150. Where are they going to come from?
Yeah.
So there's academia, industry, all of us have to create the automotive design ecosystem.
Now earlier today you showed us, it was quite a spectacle when you showed us this machine at work. And from what you told us, this is still probably, clay modeling is still the most analog, hands-on bit of design. So can you just tell us, for someone who doesn't exactly know what clay modeling really is, what role it plays in the design process? If you can just take us through what's happened here.
Of course. So, we start always with pen on paper. That's the most expressive way of doing it, but customer doesn't buy a sketch.
Sure.
Customer buys a product.
Sure.
We very quickly move to a digital model of that, digital 3D model.
Sure.
But that is still on a screen, even if it's virtual, etc. You still cannot touch it and you cannot feel it, which is why we create clay models.
Yeah.
The data which is created in a digital format comes to this 5-axis milling machine, which then, from a big block of clay, creates that shape which the designer has, let's say, visualized. But then when you see it in full size, you may or may not be happy with a couple of things, lines or surfaces. Then the designers will put a physical tape, and our clay sculptors will actually shape the model. And this is what gives the touch of the hand in what ends up in our showroom.
Yeah.
So that when you go in the showroom, you can feel the care that's gone into designing and manufacturing our vehicles.
So as a designer during this process, what exactly are you looking at? Is there something specific that you're trying to fine-tune or refine that you want to see in the finished project?
Yes, absolutely. At this stage, it's really refining, fine-tuning, making sure everything works, both technically and aesthetically, because there are some very stringent technical requirements, as you know, and that has to work. So at every level, a model like this is something that we all stand around, not only in design. All the functions of the company finance, manufacturing, engineering, brand, we are able to stand around the same truth, which is the model.
With an EV such as this one, has it given you more freedom as a designer? Is there more that you can do considering the way these cars are made? So has the process changed a bit while designing
So
EVs?
the process is the same, and it's not more or less. It's what you can and cannot do, which sometimes is defined by the product. So if I look at the B6, for example, the bonnet we're able to give a really deep scoop and that floating spoiler in the front. It was needed for aerodynamics, but if there was an engine, we wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. So you can say that it has that dual purpose. There's an aesthetic reason to do it, but there's also a functional reason. So I think what you need to do is different on different products, different technologies, but the process is the same. There's a clay model here regardless of what we're doing. It could be a last mile mobility product, it could be a tractor. You've seen the Oja here, you've seen the Vero. So we don't change the process. It's the suitability of the product that defines.
I think I just have one more question, because this is something that's been doing the rounds. Now with AI coming in and design being one of the places where it's sort of had quite a bit of impact. So do you think in automotive design, the whole process that you just mentioned, is there some way that you, for example, could use AI in a way to add more value? Or just
Look, I think AI is a tool like many other tools. When these machines came and digital modeling came, everyone said clay would be gone. Clay has come and is here to stay, stronger than it's ever been before.
Sure.
Clay modeling was invented in the 60s in GM in America. We are in the mid-20s and we're still using it more today than it ever was. So look, AI, Photoshop, CAD, CAM, all of these are tools which we are integrating, we embrace, and it gives you the possibilities, But finally, there's two things you need, which is I call HI, human intelligence, and taste. Design is all about taste. In those thousands of options that an AI can create, you still have to choose the right one for your brand, for the product, etc. So I think, it's a great tool. We are integrating that in our processes already, especially in visualization, and we love it.
Pratap, thank you so much. It's been a great conversation.
Thank
you so much for speaking to OVERDRIVE.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.